I'm Lauren Green, and you're in the strategy room. Donald Trump is riding high in the polls as the Republican frontrunner, while at the same time Bernie Sanders is leading Hillary Clinton in New Hampshire. Seen as political outsiders by both the GOP and Democrats, Trump and Sanders are gaining more support as the summer moves along. So it leaves the question, is this a summer fling or the real deal? Here with reaction. Ellen Ratner, Bureau Chief for Talk Radio News Service, and Lee Carter, partner with Maslansky and Partners. Welcome to you both.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Ellen, let me start with you because Trump and Sanders gaining momentum. Did this come as a surprise? And I think mostly Sanders, I think people are most surprised about.
Well, Senator Sanders is a huge surprise because everybody in the Democratic Party thought that Hillary Clinton was a foregone conclusion. The email issue has not helped her at all with the State Department, and that's part of the problem right now. The other, and this is just my view, is if I was advising Secretary Clinton, I would say start talking to the press more.
Yeah. You know, and Lee, I get the feeling that Bernie Sanders is a real kind of grassroots push. You know, actually, the Trump is more of a grassroots push. I get the feeling that Sanders is more of sort of almost a Democratic kind of, we can't put all our eggs in the Hillary basket.
I think there's people that are really enthusiastic about Sanders, and it's really surprising to me. But I think what's interesting is if you look at some of the polling numbers, Hillary Clinton, only 35% of her supporters are excited to support her, which really makes her vulnerable. And when I'm out there talking to folks in focus groups, people are like, I just am not sure I trust her. There's something I'm not sure about. And what that does is it leaves the door wide open for other candidates. And I think it's a little bit different than what we're seeing on the Republican side, but it's certainly saying that we don't want somebody we're not excited about.
Yeah, you know, the variable here that we can't seem to understand, we've talked about this before, Ellen, is Trump. You know, who is he playing to in the Republican Party?
I think he is playing, and we've said this before, he's playing to people who want to know that they invite somebody into their living rooms for 4 years, that they want somebody who they already know and who they feel comfortable with, and they've seen him a lot on reality shows. And last but not least, people in this country want to laugh. Trump makes them laugh, and I saw that last week with the press at the debate. Every time he got to speak, everybody was sort of leaning forward, wanting to...
What's he going to say?
What's he going to say? Is he going to make us laugh? And they did laugh, even in the press room.
Wow, but you know, that's the idea. The question we asked in the beginning, is this kind of a summer fling? I mean, we were talking about Carly Fiorina. I mean, she's really great too, and we've got Ben Carson out there. These are all outsiders that people are kind of a little excited about. Is this sort of the time to test the waters? That we're not committed yet because we're not so close to the election, but this time we can sort of have a little fling with you know, whoever we want.
You know, everybody thought Howard Dean was going to get it until the Scream.
The Scream, wow.
And people thought Kerry was totally dead in the water, and then he became the nominee. I think it's way early. It may not be a summer fling, but it's an early fling.
And Lee, what do you think? I mean, is this kind of a summer fling? Do you think it'll blow over? I mean, it's just this idea that we can test the waters now with all these other outside candidates and really feel what they're about, but we don't have to be committed right now.
You know, I think that the big deal to know is that 81% of people on both Republicans and the Democrats say, I don't believe that people in Washington, D.C. and politicians are representing me or have my best interest at heart. So I think what people are really doing is exploring these other candidates. Let's take a look at Trump. Let's take a look at Fiorina. Let's take a look at Carson. Let's take a look at Sanders. These don't seem typical. And so I think people are really trying them on for size, seeing what it's like. And they're really, really fractured over who they're supporting, but I think it's something different. What I think is going to be interesting is when there's nothing standing between you and the ballot box, what are you going to push?
Yeah.
What really is important to you? What's really going to matter? And I think we've got a long time to see what's going to happen.
I want to go back to Bernie Sanders because, you know, like you said, Ellen, we got a feeling that Hillary really was the default candidate and she was the slam dunk. Is Bernie Sanders a real threat to her?
Anybody is a real threat to anybody at this point, because if you look at it, first of all, as you say, you never know what's going to happen. The real poll, as we say, is on Election Day, and he may be speaking to a very specific part of the party, just like some of these Republicans are speaking to a very specific part of the party. Carly Fiorina is speaking to a lot of women in the Republican Party. Bernie Sanders is talking to both the young people and the old people who may be a little more left than Hillary Clinton. So you don't know, and it depends who turns out, what the get out the vote is that day.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, what do you think? I mean, is Bernie Sanders a viable threat to Hillary Clinton?
I think he is. I think the bigger threat, though, is going to be if Biden does come in, because what Biden's going to start doing is poking more holes. He can be more aggressive. I mean, Sanders is a very, very friendly opponent to her.
Yeah, very, very interesting stuff. I get the feeling, though, although in the Trump issue, that Trump has a different constituency than everybody else. Like, everybody else is sharing the same group. Trump is kind of there by himself.
He is there by himself, but he's also picking up from all those other little constituencies. What happens if somebody drops out early because of lack of money, then that will be very interesting. It'll be more than one person that might drop out early.
Yeah, and we'll see where those numbers actually translate to. Yeah. Thank you very much, women, ladies, women. Okay. You want to check out foxnews.com for more on the 2016 presidential race. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.